Will, many thanks. That was the BBC's Will Grant speaking live there from Rondônia State in Brazil. Well, it's not just the Amazonian rainforest that's ablaze. Fires in neighboring Bolivia are threatening people and wildlife. The Chiquitano dry forest was the largest healthy tropical dry forest in the world, but last week alone it's estimated that 800,000 hectares of the forest were burnt to the ground. And the government of President Evo Morales is reportedly trying to put out the fires and has been loaned a supertanker aircraft which dumps water by the United States. Janice Daza is with a Bolivian environmental pressure group and lives in Santa Cruz, near to where the fires are raging. I asked her if there were fires every year in the forest.
Yes, there are, but not at the extent that we've seen today. The use of fires to expand agricultural area is very traditional in Bolivia, but it's been expanding under the Morales government because there has been some pretty expensive policy that his government has passed in the last few years, starting in 2010. And what happened this year is that they passed a supreme decree in July the 9th of this year. This means that they went over the constitution. This law was not passed by the Legislative Assembly. It was only decided by the executive. And it said that it was legal to use controlled fires to expand the agricultural area. However, you have to understand that the use of controlled fires in August, when we are going to a dry season, is not only negligence. I believe they knew what they were doing.
So you're saying that a lot of these fires this year, the reason why there are so many is as a result of government policy.
Yes, and this is not an isolated event. This is something systematic that has been happening again since 2013 with the first law that was forgiving anyone that used unauthorized fire between 1996 and 2011. So there's a policy by the Morales government, although it shows itself internationally as being incredibly environmental and supportive of environmental rights. Their policy has been going the complete opposite direction. And this year, it's an election year. We have national elections in October. They have been strengthening their alliances with private sectors. So that's what brought the new Supreme Decree, which authorized the use of controlled fires to expand agricultural areas.
Why does the government want to expand agricultural land in the Chiquitano forest?
This area is the area that's most used for agricultural industry. And this year we had a new deal with China in which we agreed that we would be providing them with meat, with beef meat. So the need to increase the production of meat and therefore cattle is higher now. And may I add that there has been no real referendum to people as to whether we wanted to expand agricultural areas into forest areas, which is what the Supreme Decree approved in July 9th authorized. From what I hear on the ground right now, it's 1.5 million hectares that have been lost already up until today.
But I thought the government was at the same time trying to put out these fires.
I'm going to give you facts just so that you can make up your mind yourself as to whether the intention is there or not. The first fires were reported at the beginning of July, almost at the same time that this Supreme Decree was passed. Local authorities by the 13th of August were already asking for the government to put out the fires, but we had only about 40 firefighters, 40 of them, and absolutely no equipment to fight it. By the 19th, we started the campaigns asking the government to take care of the fires and also ask for international help, because by that time it had been about 600,000 hectares that had been burned, and we knew that as a country we didn't have the capacity to fight them. But the government responded that it was going to be too difficult to fight the fires, and they only offered one helicopter to evacuate. It wasn't until we took the campaign to the international level and we started using social media that they decided to bring in the super tanker, but that's only one airplane.
So the loss of more than 1 million hectares of the Chiquitano forest means what for the environment, for the ecosystem?
Well, you have to understand that the Chiquitano forest is right by the Amazon forest, and everything is interconnected in Bolivia. This area is a big source of water for other areas, both higher up in the highlands, as well as going towards the Amazon forest. So losing all of this, experts are saying that if we manage to recover, it's going to take approximately 200 years I can tell you that there's more than 500 animal species that inhabited these areas, but the numbers of animal lives lost is also incredibly high, probably in the thousands.
And are there also people living in the forest?
Yes, I was just talking right now with people from Standing Rivers, my team. They have been traveling towards the Pantanal, the border with Brazil, to record all of the losses that they've seen. And they've told me of several families, children included, that are currently seeking shelter because their entire houses have been lost. I know that many volunteers, given that they don't have the proper equipment, have passed out while trying to put out the fires because they don't have masks. People's clothes are melting as they try to put out the fires. So we're trying to fundraise to bring that to Bolivia. There are protests happening as we speak in 5 different cities of Bolivia. They will continue throughout the week. It's because the government is trying to minimize the loss and the problems, but people on the ground know that we have lost more than we can imagine. And if you look at the hashtag SOS Bolivia on social media, you will see many videos that will show you the extent of what we've lost.
That was Janice Daza with the Bolivian Environmental Pressure Group, Standing Rivers. She was talking to me just a short while ago. You're listening to the BBC World Service. This is News Hour.